I said, my worry is that I'm going to die and all of this music is going to be in a drawer somewhere and nobody's going to know what to do with it because they
Hmm.
don't know. They'll just see it and they'll go, well, that's cool, but we don't know if it's good or bad or
Right.
whatever. And so anyway, I have a little prayer list that I pray through in the morning. It takes me about an hour.
Hmm.
And and so my wife said, "Hey, why don't you put something on there for yourself? Because you don't have anything on there for yourself. Why don't you ask for this person?"
Yeah.
Right. And so I did, and I put it on there. And so after 18 years, 3 months went by, and we were driving through Nashville, and we were having dinner with some friends. The husband had been the guitar player in Little River Band for 20 years.
Hmm.
And so he had toured the world. He was a one of those guys that, you've used the word genius. We hear that word all the time about people, but
Yeah.
I think this guy might actually be one. Certainly musically he is. And he can play anything, he can do anything, and he hears stuff, right? So anyway, we're sitting at dinner. We were in the middle of a Mexican restaurant, and Rich and I, the her husband, so the guy that's going to be my producer, I didn't know this.
Hmm.
We're sitting across the table from each other, and Susie, my wife, and Rich's wife and kids were down at that end of the table. And out of the blue, I mean, I never would have asked this guy to do anything. I knew who he was working with, and I'm like,
Hmm.
why would he work with a? I mean, I love the guy; he's my friend, but I would never ask him to work with me. I was just kind of loath to do that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
so anyway, and so he asked me. He said, "Hey man, what are you working on? Because I know you're always working on something." And I said, "Well, I've got a new song called Why Not Me that Susie thinks is probably the most commercial thing I've ever done." And he said, "Really?" He goes, "What are you going to do with it?" And I said, "Well, that's kind of the $1 million question, Rich." I said, I don't know what to do with it."
Hmm.
And he said, "Well, why don't you sing it to me?" And I said, "Here in the restaurant?" I said, "We're right out in the middle. There's no hiding us, Rich. You sure?" And he said, "No, no, no, sing it to me. Sing it to me a cappella." And so I started singing, "There's a mountain wide and high, it reaches halfway to the sky." And I started singing it to him. And I get through the first verse and the chorus, and he holds his hand up and he's emotional and he stops me and he said, "Okay, you can stop now." He goes, "First of all, Susie is right as usual." Okay. And he said, "Second of all, uh, I'm supposed to help you with this. Did you know this?"